Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, as an automotive consultant, it's very disheartening to hear about individuals getting taken advantage of by unscrupulous mechanics or shops. And there are several reasons why this happens. In our video feature for today, we will hear about one woman's ordeal and how she was scammed out of her hard-earned cash. And you'll be surprised by who she was scammed. But before we do, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And in case you have to leave, ensure you give us a like. Let's get into this video feature.
You've got some car trouble and you go to Google to get a mechanic in your area. Well, that's what one local woman did. But she says the businesses that she ended up at took more than $2,000 from her and never did the work. In fact, as our Jackie Calloway explains here tonight, it's not the first time someone has accused this particular repair shop of shortchanging a customer.
Look at that.
Single working mom Dawn Brown says a Port Richey repair shop left her without a vehicle and dependent on bumming rides. Dawn's trouble started in January when her SUV's engine died on Highway 19.
I'm not really familiar with mechanic shops or nothing like that, so of course I Googled the first thing I seen.
That Google search led her to Auto Legends Towing and Repair.
She said that she would get in the shop, they would look at it. So a few days later, she gave me a call back. She said, Dawn, we can do everything for $2,900.
According to this receipt, dated February 2nd, Dawn paid Auto Legends $1,000 toward the replacement motor. Dawn says she gave the money to this woman, Deborah Noonan, who's listed.
Yeah, take a good look at her there. And the thing is, I have covered mechanic stores before. And before I even started this channel, I would read stories on Quora and Reddit of the horrible experiences people had with getting their cars repaired. I don't know why the emphasis here is on a single mother. It's no longer a badge of honor. Well, in my experience, we're all adults at some point. And some things really require a man's intervention, particularly someone with mechanical experience, even after or before this particular estimate was given based on the diagnosis. Someone close to her usually has a mechanic on standby. Plus, how did this business actually ended up as one of the first choices on Google? Let's continue.
As the license holder on state records.
And then February 11th, she called and she said, well, Dawn, do you have any more money?
On February 20th, Dawn used Zelle to send Deborah Noonan another $1,200 toward the motor.
So once I gave her the last payment, she said, okay, the motor's on its way.
For the next 3 weeks, Dawn and Deborah exchanged texts about the progress of the engine replacement.
So next week or March 10th, she said, let's call it for March 10th. I will try to do it sooner.
Messages show Dawn checked in every few days.
She said, it's not quite complete yet. I will let you know when it is. And here we go, March 10th, afternoon. I said, still scheduled for today.
Dawn says that's when Auto Legends stopped responding. And she's not the only customer to accuse Noonan of not getting the repair they paid for. Investigative documents filed in Pasco County Court this week lay out the state's case against Auto Legends towing and repair owner Deborah Noonan. State investigators charged Noonan in 2021 with fraud after an I-Team investigation revealed that another customer claimed he paid $1,150 for a catalytic converter that was never installed.
Come on up, Miss Noonan.
There she is in court. Now, let's look at some of the problems doing businesses with mechanics and shops, because firstly, you have a lack of transparency and communication from the shop or the mechanic that can leave customers feeling uninformed and vulnerable. And dishonest shops may also exaggerate or invent issues to inflate repair costs. Additionally, some mechanics may prioritize short-term profits over long-term customer satisfaction, leading to unnecessary repairs or neglecting essential maintenance. But this shop owner, she's very slick though. She could have outsourced the job. Then that is what most do when there is some form of specialization involved. A complete engine need to be replaced. Obviously, she is not a mechanic, and thankfully the local news media came to this lady's rescue. Let's finish up this video.
And pled not guilty, and 3 years later, she's still awaiting trial. Dawn emailed me after finding our 2021 story online.
I just Googled her name and it popped straight up. I wish I would have done that, but people don't do that when you're stuck on the side of the road.
Dawn says she got an anonymous call in mid-March telling her to pick up her SUV outside the Auto Legends shop.
Like, the only thing that's here is the old motor.
State records show the Auto Legends license expired in February and the business closed. We found the gate locked when we stopped by in March. She does not have the engine that she paid for. I left a message for Noonan. Someone who said he worked with her responded in this text. It says the money Dawn paid was for towing and storage, and they never intended on putting a motor in. But the text exchange between Dawn and Noonan tell a different story.
A lot of the complaints that we get are quality of service complaints.
Rick Kimsey is with Florida's Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, which regulates auto repair businesses. The agency mediates for consumers and in some cases investigates mechanics. Well, what would make up a fraud case for your department?
Fraud cases come in many shapes. A lot of the ones that we've seen recently are parts that are not replaced on a vehicle.
Dawn filed a complaint with the state. The Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services told me in this email they're investigating her case. Meanwhile, she's stuck sharing a car with her teenage daughter.
Very, very upsetting to me, my children.
State law requires mechanics provide a written estimate when the repairs top $100, and they cannot hit you with a final bill that's more than $50 over the estimate without your consent. We have information on your rights and where to turn for help at abcactionnews.com. With photojournalist Randy Wright, I'm Jackie Calloway, taking action for you.
Welcome to Florida. Now, my personal advice for people to look for to avoid falling victim to such practices, and there are several signs inexperienced customers should watch out for when choosing an auto repair shop or a mechanic. And firstly, you have to look out for certifications and qualifications such as the Automotive Service Excellence ASE certification, as they call it here in North America. And this kind of demonstrates the mechanic's competence and professionalism. Transparency is also key. So inquire about the repairs needed and ask for explanations in layman terms. You have to trust your gut. Importantly, if something feels off or if the mechanic pressures you into unnecessary repairs or additional funds, consider seeking second opinion. And finally, seek recommendations from friends and family or online reviews to find reputable and trustworthy mechanics with a track record of quality service. You have to be vigilant. Today, our society is leading towards people losing trust in doing business, and it's very sad. As usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.